This week, join me as I make these Christmas pud coasters. If you've seen any of my previous videos, there's a good chance that you know I am in love with this Resincrete. Christmas is coming up, so I thought it would be fun to make some coasters for the dinner table. I start by mixing up a small batch of Resincrete and then splitting it into 3. I dye one red, one green and one dark brown. Previously, I found that a pipette helps me be a little bit more precise, so I first use one to drop some dark brown spots onto the mould. These will add texture to the main pudding body. Next, I put a few dots of red, trying to make them look like holly berries. And finally, the green holly leaves. I use the end of the pipette to try and encourage the green into a leaf shape. I then leave these to set. Once pretty much dry, I mix up another batch and split it into 2. The first half I leave white and pour over the top half of the mould to be the icing. The second half I make a slightly lighter brown than earlier and then use this on the bottom half of the mould to be the steamed pudding itself. These were looking a little bit thin, so I topped them up with another brown layer. I couldn't get it to match the front, but it shouldn't matter too much. Once the coasters are set, I demould them and I think they look kind of like abstract Christmas puddings. A bit too abstract for my liking. I may need to do more research into how to improve my technique. If you have any hints or tips, please let me know in the comments. I've been using any leftover Resincrete from each batch to fill this mould, which is the coaster holder. I'm hoping that using the same colours will mean that it matches, but spoiler alert, you've already seen that I do not use this coaster holder in the end because, well, it comes out pretty ugly and it split apart as the layers just didn't merge together. I could have left the coasters as is, but I decided to try and improve them by grabbing some black paint and drawing on cartoony outlines. I tried to draw a thin outline and a thick one, and decided to go with the thick one, so went ahead and painted up all the coasters. Now, I do want you to notice here, the black outline clearly separates the brown and the white sections, because something funky happens with them later on. I tried to make a second coaster holder here by mixing small flecks of the coaster colours into a white base. I do like the granite effect it gives, but this is still not the holder you saw at the beginning of the video because I still don't think that it matches the coasters enough, so time for a third attempt. I made a completely brown coaster holder, trying my best to match the colour of the coasters. It's still not perfect, but I think it's good enough. I decided to make it a little more fun by adding a white icing drip to the outside. I just went around the rim and occasionally added a little extra so that the excess would drip down, but not too much. I was also careful not to let it drip inside because then the coasters wouldn't fit. And I am so happy with how my first drip attempt went. I think it matches the theme really well. I added an air dry glaze to both the coasters and the holder, and this is the final result. I even tried to add a matte glaze to the pudding and a gloss to the icing. I'm not sure you can really see the difference, but I think these will be a conversation starter come Christmas dinner time. Oh yeah, earlier I mentioned to note that the black lines separated the brown and white sections. Well, I assume that I didn't wait long enough for the coasters to completely dry. As you can see in the final result, the brown and white have sort of blended and spread into each other, and it makes the end result much less clean looking. The green and red have also spread, so I think next time I just need to leave the Resincrete longer before adding any final touches.